NET presents USA Poetry. This program is devoted to the work of Brother Antonius and Michael McClure. Michael McClure was born in 1932 in Kansas. He attended schools in the Midwest, the Southwest, and in San Francisco, where he's lived since 1953. He is married and has a daughter. McClure is one of the poets identified as a member of the Beat generation and with what has been described as the San Francisco Renaissance. Michael McClure is an experimentalist and has written in many different styles and forms. In 1958, he wrote this about his work: "I want a writing of the emotions, intellect, and physiology, the direct emotional statement from the body, from the organs, and from the energy of movement." A recent poem of McClure's derives from a line by Allen Ginsberg, "The roar of life insurance."
There's no telling where the heart sails when the business fails and the mind afloat as a drunken boat, dressed in meat and a flowered shirt, smiling through the clouds and dirt to a space beyond recall, to the rainbow at the end of the bright hall. And the roar of life insurance and the vampire neon toes and boots of snails' endurance dance upon the rose.
For several years, McClure experimented intensively with consciousness-expanding drugs, such as peyote.
I first took peyote because I heard it was great. That was about 1957. A person I trusted very much brought it to me and gave it to me. And I took it in the privacy of my household, and it was a great divine experience. And I wrote the peyote poem about it. And then, with another friend, I went on a trip of investigating all hallucinogens and taking all of them I could possibly get my hands on. And what happened was that I took so many times, that I began to have what I call the dark night of the soul at the time, which Allen Ginsberg calls an anxiety state. And the last time I took one, it took 6 weeks to come down. I didn't know that I was ever going to come down. So I walked up and down the street out there that you were just on, and I looked at the cracks in the sidewalk, thinking that they were like billion-fold bliss, forever, eternity, now death, cold sneer. And finally came down and vowed not to take any more hallucinogens. And then I did take one more. And I think I'm ready to take them again now. Or I think I feel that I'm ready to. But it's been several years. Everybody has their own, they're right for some people at some time. Maybe they're not even right for some people. I don't know anything like that. This poem is Night Words. How beautiful things are in a beautiful room at night, without proportion. A black, long-haired cat with a sensitive human face. A white robe hangs on the wall like a soft ghost, without proportion. Songs flit through my head. The room is calm and still and cool. Blue-gray stillness, without proportion. The plants are alive, giving off votive oxygen to the benevolent pictures above them. Songs flit through my head. I am taken with insomnia, with ambrosial insomnia, and songs flit through my head. The room is softened. Things are without proportion, and I'm asleep.
One of Michael McClure's current experiments consists of cards with single words at the top and bottom of each card. The decks can be shuffled and random poems created.
Flowing,
Kiss, wave, solid,
anger,
meat, tie,
venom, smoke,
gun,
mount, cloud.
With a friend, the harmonica player, artist, and filmmaker Bruce Conner, a poem is improvised.
Strike, powder, heal.
Shine, love, pink fear. Fear, shine, swart dream. globe, ear, press, mist.
In the book of poems titled Ghost Tantras, published in 1964, many of the poems consist of sounds rather than words in the conventional sense.
Gar thy ru gahar in da nul is, bimi e grahor in lauvel thee, thy lips and hair are stunning, feel bior eo ma'an tears. Grew on the green block trees are tall and brooding in the dark gray pink wet mist of night. All is flashes of silver upon damp black by screwed in deer. Thee, McClure's porir, Danus imrak, Gahar, Geir, Ra, Mean, Luvi, and all physicality is poesy to demanding flesh. Ring-tailed cats, close Arcturus, heavenly visions of gentle rats with pink noses.
Michael McClure once wrote, "Poetry is a muscular principle. There is no logic but sequences of feelings. My viewpoint is egocentric. Self-dramatization is part of a means to belief and spirit."
I wanted to make poetry that was that didn't have images in the sense that Shelley calls mimetic images, in the sense that where the image describes something in the real world, but in the sense where the sound of the poetry itself creates an image in the mind, in the body, in the muscles of the body, and it created a melody that was also an image that imprinted itself in the body physically. Whether it's a test, whether it does it, whether it truly does it. So it's an experiment, an attempt to do it. And then I wanted to read them to animals. I suppose because they're our simpler cousins.
Silence the eyes. Become the senses. Drive through from the fresh repugnance. Thou whole, thou feeling creature, live not for others, but affect thyself from thy enhanced interior, believing what thou carry, thy trillionic multitude of gra, bushes, and silences. Oh, you are heavier and dimmer than you do, and more solid and full of pleasure. Gra! 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 Gra!
contrast is absolute between the Lion House and the monastery at St. Albert's College in Oakland, California, where Brother Antonius lived for 12 years.
The camera is nothing. The film is nothing. It is the immortal gaze of the man who sees that is everything. I rise to meet that vision, then I will meet it. I gaze at you across these canyons of alienation, but they are nothing. They are only to be overcome. Need to only find the key, the mold. The poem takes us in, shall we say, overcomes the abstractness, but does it? This is the crucial journey. This is why we're here. It's the poem that takes us into that. To get our hands on the living flesh of the poem. But the poem is nothing unless we're prepared to follow it back into its own dimension, and that's why it takes this nonsense which we go through. You and I staring at each other here without recognition. Sometimes when you look at me that way, I hate you with a terrible hatred. As far as the camera goes, if I were an actor, I could act my way through it, but I'm not an actor, and I don't intend to act my way through it. It's you that I'm interested in, and that look on your faces, which is devastating in its impassiveness and in the blankness of your faces. The blankness of your faces. I don't know you. I never know you. I come to you in these encounters and I never know you. The faces of strangers always confront me out of this vastness. I throw my poems into those canyons. Sometimes I hear the echo of their disappearance. Mostly they are lifesavers, something I throw in to save myself. Because the tornado is burgeoning there. But I'm not afraid. I never have been afraid.
He was born William Everson in 1912 in Selma, a town in California's San Joaquin Valley. During World War II, he served in a camp for conscientious objectors, and his poems from these and earlier years were published by New Directions in a book titled The Residual Years. He entered the Catholic Church in 1949, and in 1951 became Brother Antoninus, a lay brother in the Dominican order. Since then, he has published 2 books, The Crooked Lines of God, University of Detroit, 1959, and The Hazards of Holiness, published by Doubleday in 1962. Currently, his time is spent in writing and in platform appearances throughout the United States, events which are a unique combination of poetry reading and direct encounters with his audience. Encounters which have been described as embodying the savagery of love.
And you freshwater egrets, east in the flooded marshlands, skirting the sea-level rivers, white one-legged watchers of shallow. broad-headed kingfishers, minnow hunting from willow stems on meandering valley sloughs. You too, you herons, blue and supple-throated, stately, taking the air majestical in the sun-flooded San Joaquin, grading down on your belted wings from the upper lights of sunset, mating over the willow clumps or where the flat water rice fields shimmer. You killdeer, high night criers, far in the moon's suffusion sky, bitterns, sand waders, all shore walkers, all roost keepers, populates of the adobe cliffs of the Sacramento. Open your water-dartling beaks and make a praise up to the Lord. Is all truth terrible? Why does it shock us? What do we live in that truth is so shocking? What lies do we live out day after day, years after year, insulating ourselves, winding the cocoon of our preservation, only to have the truth break through and expose us to the world as we are. Oh, I have loved in my life. And to have loved woman in one's life is to have suffered the lance of her insight into what I am. I gave my life to God through the hands of a woman. And the great victories over myself were always ordained through the hands and, yes, the arms of woman. That is my peculiar fatality. And I am the witness of it, and I cannot deny it. And I have no regrets, because I am where I'm supposed to be. And if you can say that, count the past nothing. Count the past everything. Because it was the past that makes us. If I am violent with you, it is to liberate something. Not you, not me, but it. The X factor. Something you don't know, something I don't know. And never will. But it's there. And the poem knows it. The poem goes to it with an unerring instinct. And the heart of the poet hungers for it and thirsts in it. I look for it in your eyes. Where else? I throw my poems into you to open you up in myself. But I can't stand it. Because I can't contain it. And I have to keep coming back and back, seeking you out in your stupidity, your sloth, your inertia, your appalling humanity. Human collectivity is the most terrible thing in the world. It is not even a beast. love? Are you capable of it? Do you know what it is? Did you ever love? You're made to love. You're born to love. Did you ever love? You possess the whole of humanity in your body, in your soul. Only in time is it all proliferated out through the sequences and the series of material process. This we call the race and the history of the race, but it's in you. The whole, the potential is in you, all of it, the whole of mankind, beginning to end. From Adam and Eve to the Antichrist, it's all you. And the Christ, it's all you. You're the Christ. Deep in the heart, the man and the woman confront each other. They hold out their arms to each other. They grope together, seeking to define themselves upon one another. Within me, the woman who is I, the other side of myself, opens her eyes in all her pristine loveliness and says, accept me. She comes to me in sleep and blesses me. She shows me the way through many difficulties. Sometimes I love her so much I want to be delivered of myself in order to be more thoroughly herself. Because she knows love and is capable of love. She's my whole potentiality of love. And I once wrote a poem that sought to liberate her into her own being. Even asked to annul this man, that she who is the true God lover within me might love God without inhibition of what I am. Annul in me my manhood, Lord, and make me woman, sexed and weak. If by that total transformation I might know thee more. What is the worth of my own sex? That the bold possessive instinct should but shoulder thee aside? What uselessness is housed in my loins to drive the rampant pride of life? What is needful is a hushed quiescence. The soul is feminine to God and hangs on impregnation, fertile in fluxing grace. But how achieve the elemental lapse of that repose? That watchful, all-abiding silence of the soul in which the lover enters to his own, yielding himself to her, and her alone, How may a man assume that hiddenness of heart, being male, all masculine and male, blunt with male hunger? Make me then girl-hearted, virgin soul, woman docile, maiden meek. Cancel in me the rude compulsive tide that like an angry river surges through. Flouts off thy soft lip touches, froth blinds the soul gaze, from its very great delight outballs the rare celestial melody. Restless I churn. The use of sex is union. Union alone. Hear it but cleave. Makes man the futile ape of God. All ape and no bride. Usurps the energizing role, inverts. And in that wrenched inversion caught, draws off the needer from his never-ending need. Diverts. The seeker from the sought. We are crucified on each other, struggling our way back to Eden and forward to paradise. All I have is my poem to bring to you. Miserable gifts. Miserable gifts. I would relinquish them all for one moment of love from you. It is denied. The human collectivity is the most terrible thing in reality. And you're it.
The first poem read by Brother Antonius is a portion from The Canticle to the Water Birds, written in 1950. This is NET, the National Educational Television Network.